Hello and welcome to Old Men Yell at Cloud. I went with one that is, I was kind of disappointed that we didn't have on the schedule for this year coming up, which is McLusky's 2002 McLusky Do Dallas. And they're an Albini band from the early 2000s. Listeners should know of our discussions of Albini before.
Albini's Weenies.
Albini's Weenies. But McLusky was a band from Cardiff, Wales in the early aughts that were pretty consistent in delivering albums that just basically brought the noise and the humor, which is kind of an odd pairing for that sort of genre. Singer, guitarist Andrew Falkus, bassist John Chappell, and drummer Matt Harding, later to be replaced by Jack Egglestone, replaced 3 albums, including Do Dallas in 2004's The Difference Between You and Me Is I'm Not on Fire, both produced by Steve Albini, before they broke up in late 2004 following a disastrous tour involving gear theft and increasing interband tensions. When Chappell relocated to Australia with his new outfit Shooting at Unarmed Men, Falkus and Egglestone went on to form Future of the Left, an act that continues in the vein of McLusky to this day. So still kind of keeping up with the snark and the heavy stuff and the occasional hook here and there.
Sucks about their gear.
Yeah, no, that sucked. They were a band I was following a lot at that time. I saw them at TT's twice, I think in 2004, and they were like a very approachable, fun band to hang out with. Like, you could go to their show and just be like, "Hey, Falkus, how's it going?" And like give their singer a high five and like have a beer with them. Like, that sort of thing.
I kind of get that vibe. Yeah, I kind of feel like other bands you hear about breaking up because like the fame went to their head, or one of them marries Gwen Stefani or something. But like in this case, this just felt like very real. Like this could have been any one of our friends' bands.
Well, Christopher, you were telling me a story earlier.
Yeah, so at one of their gigs, I was talking to their bass player, and this was on the Difference Between You and Me tour. That happened in 2004, and I was talking to their bass player, and I was like, "Yeah, like your new drummer is great. Like, did like something bad happen with your old drummer?" And he's like, "Yeah, he actually became an anti-rock star. He cleaned himself up, stopped drinking, stopped doing drugs, which is awesome, and he started exercising. But the thing is, it became a problem because he would go for like a 3-mile run in the morning before we had a studio session." So he would go for a run, get himself completely exhausted, and then try to play drums for 8 hours.
Wow. Yeah.
So like eventually, there were some problems there, and they ended up ousting him out in favor of Jack Egglestone, who's the only drummer of theirs I saw live. But yeah, he was a fun guy.
Yeah. Well, respect to that guy for cleaning up his act.
When they played Ellen as a Cowboy Killer live, my buddy Rick was holding a lighter up on stage right up front because we were nerds pressed right up front against the stage of TTs for them, and Jack Egglestone was just trying to blow out his lighter from behind his kit. It was pretty dope. So with that said, we have our usual roundtable thing, and unusually for recent times, we don't have a guest, so it's just kind of your boys here.
Patrick's going to bring his split personality tonight.
Yeah.
I was going to say it's kind of nice not having a guest. Don't have to like put on airs. It's
the pressure's off. There's no stranger for one of us.
Yeah, it's just the au naturel corral.
Yeah, exactly.
I know. I can actually act like myself tonight.
Oh yeah.
Oh wait, I do that anyway.
Well, now your balls are out.
That's true.
I was gonna bring that up.
I mean, Patrick was wearing his pajamas last, on the Stevie Wonder episode. So
I mean, I'm wearing them on this episode, and I think every single other episode.
All right, so with that in mind, why don't we get the train started, because we know we're probably going to get distracted along the way. Patrick, what was your favorite song from McLusky Do Dallas?
My favorite track was To Heck with Good Intentions. Or I believe it was called To Hell with Good Intentions on the record, but I don't like to swear. Not on this program, at least.
All right.
I mean, it kind of the guitar and bass interplay kind of reminded me of Sonic Youth a bit. The song "Cross the Breeze" off of Daydream Nation in particular. It just grooved the most too. The instruments were doing like some really cool rhythmic interplay, and with the vocals, he was yelling, but it was sort of in a rhythmic and purposeful fashion.
Yeah.
And like I felt like everybody filled a function well, and it was catchy, and yeah, I dug it.
And
Good stuff.
To be honest, that lyric in that we take more drugs than a touring funk band. I think
That's a lofty claim.
Tough to equal. So it's funny because a lot of times when people talk about bands lyrically, they're talking about bands that actually have something to say or something that means something. And I think McLusky is sort of not that they don't have something to say, but they're not expressing like raw emotion. They're not expressing how they feel. But they still have really fucking incredible lyrics. And that's something that I think is certainly the case on this album.
They do snark very, very well, I've noticed.
Yim.
My favorite song was To Fuck With Good Intentions, because I do swear on this program. It's actually called To Hell.
My love is bigger than your love. We take more drugs than a touring funk band. Sing it. My love is bigger than your love. Sing it. My love is bigger than your love. Sing it. My band is better than your band. We got more songs than a song convention.
I'm going to agree with Patrick along the same vein of a lot of things that he said. I actually felt like this was just the first song that actually seemed like a song.
Side B, it's about fucking time.
Yeah, no, I did thoroughly enjoy side B more than I enjoyed side A.
It's a side B heavy album.
Yeah. And like, how I feel about Hell and my sign off. So, it just naturally gravitated towards it.
Yeah,
and that's like, this is the sing-along song. When you go to the show, you're going to be shouting along with this one.
Yeah,
definitely.
And it just kind of had this good rhythm and good groove going. So
My love is bigger than your love.
yeah.
Sing it.
Yeah.
I love that you say it was inviting you in, like it was like the audio equivalent of a warm hug, just like drawing you in.
Hey, I feel at home here. I feel at home in this lyrical bliss.
Just feeling the scruff of his cheek and the scent of whiskey on his breath. What?
I was telling Jim earlier when Rick and I went to see McLusky one of these times. They were playing at TT's, and afterwards we went to drop someone off in Arlington, and we had to drive down like the length of Mass Ave from Central Square to Arlington, which is a long drive of like red lights and stuff.
Yeah, I used to drive it all the time going to work in Arlington.
Oh yeah, so like 11:30 or midnight, we're driving in Rick's minivan, and it's us behind this car for a long time. This like one little sedan with like a person in it. And Rick decides it would be a good idea that as soon as the red light changes to green, he should lean on the horn, like aggressively so. So we all laugh, haha, whatever. We get up to the next light, the guy has to stop again. We pull up behind him, light changes, Rick leans on the horn again. This happens for about 5 lights in a row, and you can see at the light afterwards where he's starting to creep up before the light changes. But when the light does change, he's not faster than Rick. Rick leans on the horn again. Finally, at the light after that, the guy ran it.
Honk at me once, shame on me. Honk at me twice, I guess shame on me again. You know what? I see your point, though.
I was speaking of crazy driving stories. A woman on the highway put a hex on me last week.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
Oh,
yeah.
Spicy.
I was trying to merge onto the highway, as you do, and she decided to speed up as I was doing so to keep me from merging onto said highway.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, bitch, I'm driving a V8 right now. You really going to do this? So I speed up and I cut her off, and she's freaking out in the car. So, I look in the mirror and I give her the finger, and she gives me the finger. And then
I like how reasonably you said that. Like, oh yeah, so I cut her off and I looked in the mirror and I gave her the finger.
We exchanged fingers.
Yeah,
I was the instigator.
This is Boston, man. Like, you don't
even have to mention that you exchanged fingers. It's just like it goes without saying.
So whatever. I thought that the exchange was over. So I darted into the middle lane to get out of her way, and she did it at the same time. So she thought I cut her off again. So more exchanges, and then she picks up her phone, and I'm like, oh shit, she's calling the police now. And I was like, she's either calling the police or she's calling like her mob boss boyfriend who's going to come fucking murder me in the middle of the night. And then she pulls up aside of me, and I just wave at her because I'm done at this point. It's like this exchange is over. And she did some kind of hand signal, and Emily looked it up, and she said, "Yeah, I think she put a hex on you."
Dinner.
Your children will have many thumbs.
Sick.
I've only flipped a person off legitimately once in the car, and it was before I was 10. So my parents used to have one of those station wagons with the back-facing seats.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, no, that was more of like a collective, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Like, I know you've ridden in one of those. So we were out somewhere, like, in some road trip. Might have been a day trip, might have been days on the road. I don't remember the context. I just remember I was far enough from home to feel comfortable doing what I did. So I was sitting in the back reading Fudge-a-Mania, or Super Fudge, or whatever the hell it was I was reading. And we're at a light, and I look up, and I see this kid in a pickup truck with his dad. And the kid's maybe a year or two older than me, and he reminded me of, was it Wayne from the Wonder Years, or Dwayne, the older brother?
Oh God.
He reminded me a little bit of that kid.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I did it. And I recently came clean to my parents and told them this story. Because I was like, I just randomly thought of it. And I'm like, you guys.
You're grounded, mister.
And as Christopher's riding in the back of the station wagon, and Joe Cocker's fucking
Yeah. Yeah, no, I randomly thought of it, and I was like, oh, yeah, you guys would probably appreciate this. So I look out at the two of them, and for some reason, I lock eyes with this kid that's in the truck, and I flip him off. And I'm probably like 8 or 9.
You deserved it.
Yeah, that's the way I felt.
That's just just one more finger joke before we continue, or finger bit. Ooh, finger bits.
one more finger bang before.
All I really have there is like I flipped the kid off, and I like quickly put my hand down and just kind of went back to my book and was nervously looking up like, oh my God, they're gonna tell my parents. Like, that was my first thought. And I see the kid, he like kind of looks at me, and he like taps his dad on the shoulder, and he points at me and says something. Anyway, we kind of go straight as we go ahead, and they take the left, and as they turn off to the left, they both flipped me off.
Got him, son.
My mom, when I was really, I don't know if I was in kindergarten or first grade or what, but she told me this later on in life, because I don't remember it at all, but apparently I got on the bus, like my mom put me on the school bus, and some kid flipped my mom off. So my mom stopped the bus.
Was it Stefan?
Got on the bus. And went up to the kid and was like, I know your mother, and I'm gonna tell her what you did.
I'm gonna hex her, and her kid will have many thumbs.
There's this kid that used to be on my bus back in junior high. I'm just gonna call him Devin, whatever.
Devin Wedge.
Oh yeah.
We'll call him Devin Wedge. No, that's not anonymous enough. D Wedge.
No, Devin W. No, Devin Wedge is our good friend. This kid, he would sit like in, towards the front of the bus, but would like flip cars off all, on the way to the school, all like 35 minutes that it took to get to school. But he would like put his hand in front of the middle finger, so like only like he and like whoever was sitting behind him.
Yeah.
But it was just like...
He knew, but drivers thought he was just doing some weird hand gesture at them.
Yeah.
Like some full hand, like all 5 finger.
I think he was like, maybe that was like a training wheel. Like he was like, one day, Devin, you're going to drop that other hand and you're going to tell the world what you really think.
One day Dad's going to let go and I'm going to be free.
Man, I would love to play some pranks on some bad kids on the bus flipping you off. Like, just be behind a school bus and just have like blood packets in your mouth ready to go and just like deadpan, just like stare at them and just start spewing blood out of your mouth after they flip you off.
My favorite song, I would say, would probably be Lightsaber Cocksucking Blues.
When she told me the news, turning me on with my lightsaber cocksucking blues. Are you coming? Are you coming? Are you coming? Are you coming? Are you coming?
I think it's a very fun song.
Wait, one more thing. Before we can move on.
Let me just finish that. That's all I got. I just like the
Yeah.
Okay.
Speaking of getting away with things in the 90s,
Oh Jesus.
my first and second grade bus driver would smoke cigars while he was driving the bus.
Okay, so we had a bus driver. She only did like the late shift bus, so like the kids who were either like getting out of like their band lesson or like tutoring session or whatever, or detention.
Yep.
For the most part. So she she just had an axe to grind with these kids. And like you couldn't do
I
shit
could be
on
at
a
home
bus.
right now.
You want to learn an
Eating a
instrument,
TV
you piece of shit.
No, like it was, no food, no candy, and she would say she's like, I smell candy, and like she reeked of cigarettes. Of
I
course,
smell that trademark smell of candy.
And and here's the kicker: no music. I couldn't listen to my headphones, so I, after a while, just started like walking home.
Is that Steely Dan I hear?
No way, dude. This is 7th grade. It was corrosion of conformity. Anyway,
I had a bus driver who
Birthday boy bus driver episode. I mean, after Cigar Man, I think he got fired, and we got a bus driver who I had for several years, and she was great. And my friend Mike and I think I got like a little notepad at like one of the like little school fairs or something like that, and I was like, "What can we?
That's cool.
What can we do with this?" So my friend and I started recording everything that the bus driver would say, and she spent most of the bus ride yelling at kids like, "Sit down, stop it." So we started basically a blog called before blogs were a thing.
A notebook blog, yeah.
Yeah. Called "What Did the Bus Driver Say Today?"
that's amazing.
And we recorded everything and we gave it to her at the end of the year.
It was sort of the spiritual predecessor to Kangaroo Court.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. All right. Patrick, least favorite song?
My least favorite song was Click Application Form.
Never kiss, never be kissed. And no more kiss, go
It just didn't really stick out to me. If at all, it was just kind of obnoxious. I know it was in 5/8, and my note was 5/8, and then asterisk looks at Jim. Asterisk looks back. Yeah, it just was kind of obnoxious. It was like the qualities that make them good, just like working against each other, didn't do it for me.
Yeah,
Sorry, Doug.
I feel like that was kind of... They had extra time with Albini, and they had this like joke idea that they riffed around on, and they were like, "Oh, this actually sounds good recorded. Let's put it on the album."
Yeah, that's it.
Jimathan.
Jimathan. My least favorite was "Dethink to Survive."
Secret Fury's got your tongue, yeah, bitches got your car. And if it wasn't for the 86 World Cup, it wouldn't have got this far. But she was on empty.
Interesting.
I thought the guitar was kind of drony and annoying. I think a lot of the lead guitar on this album, at least in the first half of the album, was kind of annoying. It was very like tinkery to me.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm just not feeling it. I don't know. And like the whole I couldn't understand a fucking word he was saying in that song. He's just screaming. And,
Interesting. I actually picked that for like that was almost going to be my favorite.
Interesting.
It was my second favorite. Yeah, I felt like the verses kind of reminded me of Husker Du a bit, and like I thought like the way the chaoticness of the choruses I thought were really effective. But I see where Jim's coming from.
Yeah, I see that too. A note I put down for this is I would listen to more punk if more punk was this good.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at, or it was almost kind of like just really aggressive hip hop at times, or just
Yeah,
like
basically, it's not necessarily melodic,
Like
but
Death
there's
Grips.
still hooks.
yeah, exactly.
Hoo boy. For me, I'm probably going to go with Quick Application Form as well. But I am going to prevent being boring and not putting two clips of that, because I'm going to put Day of the Dead Ringers up there. For what Jim was just kind of hinting at, where there was that like kind of plinky guitar thing going through the first side of the album, and I think the formula worked really well for College and Rock. Like, I think that's a really fun song to have that sort of lead guitar noodly thing going on. Whereas Day of the Dead Ringers, it's 2 songs away from it, and it's just, it doesn't pay off the same way.
I thought he sounded like Bon Scott from AC/DC a little bit in that song.
Yeah, I could see that. And, like, the lyrics didn't age well in that song, for sure.
Yeah. So my notes for that song were little snare beats, angular licks, and with fascist angry man, because the way he was just like rap, 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 very like monosyllabic.
Yeah. No, and it's weird because I don't know if it shows my age or the fact of how long I've liked these guys or whatever, where I'm just like, no, that's just his brand of humor for that era of that individual. But I don't know if I want to like associate myself that closely with like an obscure band from 2002.
Did he mention Decepticons in this song?
He did. And if it wasn't for the Decepticons, you didn't sleep at night. Yeah, no. There's a lot of good lyrics on this album.
I believe you.
Okay, I believe you.
I don't listen to the lyrics first time around. It's hard for me because I usually like focus on the musical aspects of it first time around.
Yeah,
No,
we were talking about that on the drive over here because
Yeah, I
Christopher
agree.
was like, I know you're not really much of a lyric guy, but really pay attention to the lyrics on this album.
Yeah, McLusky's lyrics make all of their songs more fun. If you're not paying attention to the lyrics, I think you're not enjoying it as much as you could be.
I feel like, yeah, they must be a fucking blast live.
Oh, yeah. One of the times I saw them, it was, I think, their bass player's birthday, and they brought a cake on stage. And I happened to go outside because my girlfriend, who I was with at the time, and I got in a fight at the show. So she caused me to miss like the last fucking 4 songs of McLusky that I would ever see in my life, to go like follow her outside and have an argument about God knows what. Oh. And then my buddy Fabrizio comes running outside in his fucking Cockney accent, wearing like a full winter coat in the middle of the summer, covered in cake, and he's like, "Oh man, it's fucking awesome in there." And then he just goes running back in and sliding all over like TT's floor. So yeah, no, it was a good time.
Yeah, that's
Where were we? MVP moment?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, MVP moment.
My MVP moment was just, right when Lightsaber Cocksucking Blues comes in.
Either you are while you're falling apart and it open a can of worms. And they got to my house.
Just a great introduction to sort of what you're in for, I guess. Just, is raggedy, snarky, just chaotic lyrics.
You might say it slams on in.
It certainly does.
Oh, hey,
Jim.
now.
Well, let's
It's calm down.
calm down.
All right.
Let's all settle down here.
Yeah, I'm
Settle
not
down.
here. I'm
Let's
not here.
settle down on the birthday bus over here.
He's not here to pay your debts.
Well, I just want to do the slam conversation justice. No, it's just, yeah, it's just like a great sort of introductory track to McLusky, which is my impression of fucking the cat there, Sylvester the cat, saying McLusky.
Oh, yeah. The popular cat, Sylvester. That's exactly what it sounds like. Jim, what would your MVP moment be?
Oh my God. It's funny that you said asterisk looks at Jim because that's my MVP moment. The 5/8 portion of the beginning of Click application form.
Really?
Yeah, I dug that bass line and I love the 5/8.
Interesting.
Yeah,
That's fun.
sure.
It's
Christopher.
cool. It's cool to see differences here. For me, I told Jim on the ride in while we were listening, it is really hard to top that opening couplet of Gareth Brown Says.
All of your friends are cunts. Your mother is a ballpoint pen thief. Notoriety follows you like beatings follow rain. Bring on the big
With all of your friends are cunts, your mother is a ballpoint pen thief.
Ooh, that's rough.
And yeah, that I think is really what encapsulates this album very much for me, and McLusky as a whole. That sense of humor to it. Yeah, good stuff. That's also the song where they talk about Michael Caine following you.
Yeah, so the ballpoint pen thief, is that a Welsh regionalism or something?
I don't think so. It's funny though because John Green and I have talked about McLusky at length many a time, and at one point he was telling me, he's like, "Man, I wish I was from that weird town in Wales where they're from, dude, because I would love to like meet Alan, who's like a cowboy killer, and like that friend Dave, who's killing prostitutes, and like the guy who's saying that Michael Caine follows him."
Oh, they sure do sound like a couple of rowdy boys.
Yeah, that's one of the fun things is like outside of this album as well, like a lot of their songs just seem to be about like dudes they know,
Right.
which is very fun.
Singing about dudes.
Singing about dudes. All right, so we got MVP's comparable albums.
All right, this is kind of a weird one, bit of a stretch for me. I was going to go with "Fear of a Black Planet" by Public Enemy, just due to like the sort of grinding nature of the bass and drums, the relentlessness of it, and just the kind of sheer ferocity of it, and that's where I'm looking for sort of subversive nature of it.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, that's all I got to say about that.
Oh,
Shit.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Forrest. My comparable album is going to be In Utero by Nirvana.
Yeah.
Nirvana.
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 Another one of Albini's Weenies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Specifically for the song Tourette's. Really kind of reminded me of this.
Yeah, fair enough.
And actually, maybe even Milk It and Very Ape kind of got that.
Yeah,
same
The
kinda-
song Collagen on this record reminded me.
Collagen rock.
Yeah, Collagen Rock reminded me particularly of In Utero, sort of Albini stomp.
Yeah, I actually also wrote. So back in college, somebody showed me this band called The Frogs.
Yep.
And there was a song that was shown to me called "Who's Sucking on Grandpa's Balls," and this song I just heard this song coming through this album.
Amazing.
All right. For me, I would have to go with Shellac's 1000 Hertz.
That's also a Steve Albini. That is Steve Albini.
It's Steve Albini's band, yeah. And it's actually not for any sonic reasons. It's just because it's two albums I was listening to at the same time for very different reasons. Shellac was like the emotional release for me, whereas this was like the fun party time album for me at that point in time.
Interesting.
And you know what? It's my birthday, and I'll fucking kiss the anus if I want to. To hell with good intentions. Kiss the anus.
Yeah.
It's the song that got me into this band. And I was introduced to it by Tom York.
Really, personally, he showed up. He does stuff.
Third degree.
Christopher.
Jim's doing his best lazy eye
My
right
God,
now.
yeah, the physical impression Jim just did was out of this world.
That was a kiss of the anus moment.
No, so my friend Paul used to DJ for WFNX back in the day,
Yeah.
and there were guests on his show, and that was so in one afternoon. They played both. They were just like, "Oh, you have the new Outkast song? Can we play that?" And it was "Hey Ya." It was the first time I heard "Hey Ya," because of Radiohead.
Yeah.
And then Tom was like, "Oh, you have the new McLusky song? Can we play the new McLusky?" So he put that on, and it was "To Hell with Good Intentions." So like in one afternoon, I heard "Hey Ya" and "To Hell with Good Intentions," and I was just like, "I am set."
Yeah,
Like,
that
this
sounds
is-
like 2003 to me.
Yeah, this is like good music considering what's going on around me right now. So I'm pretty excited about this.
Yeah, 2003 was a decent year for music.
Yeah, not too shabby.
Not too bad. We were kind of getting out of the new metal and into the post punk revival. We're in that sort of buffer zone. That's
Yeah.
when Results May Vary came out.
Yeah, there was a lot of like, there was a lot of hot heat with their Band of Jizz.
Okay, yeah.
Band of Jizz, Band of Jizz.
I
Band of
remember
Jizz.
that Band of Jizz song. Woof. Because that was that like 2002, 2003 like garage rock revival that was kind of going on
was
for a
slightly
tiny
in
bit.
Yeah, it was so
the Vines
Oh,
and
I
the
was gonna
Hives
say, yeah,
and the
exactly.
Who's What's and,
Yeah.
and the You Know Who's and the White Stripes.
Yeah, poor Hot Heat. They were just so in between because like if they were a year later, like the Killers would have already paved the way.
Yeah.
And like they would have been fine, but no, they were just a little too early.
Yep. Premature. Speaking of jizz. I was
Happy birthday.
so I was thinking about that Sylvester impression that I did. I was
And you were just embarrassed for yourself?
Yes, absolutely.
No,
Thank you.
he wants to do better.
No, well, I think what was more embarrassing was me trying to do a Bugs Bunny impression, and it just sort of sounded like my or that old coworker that I told you about, Paul. Yeah, what's up? My name's Paul.
Interesting.
Sounds like Peter Griffin.
Yeah, it sort of just sounds like Peter Griffin. Do you guys remember those old PSAs that they would show on like maybe TV 38 or something back in the day of it was like PSAs for 4-year-olds, I think, where it's like, don't touch like these hot pots or don't touch hot surfaces on the stove, and it starred Bugs Bunny.
PSAs for
I think so.
4-year-olds.
I mean, it had to be because it was just like, because the commercials were just seriously like,
what's up, Doc? Don't do drugs.
don't
Stay away from crack.
No, it wasn't even that. It was like warning kids to not touch hot surfaces on the stove. Like you have to be,
remember the one
no older than 6.
No, I remember the one for the chemicals under the sink.
Yeah.
It was like, if you see the skull and crossbones, don't touch.
Yeah,
Did you ever see the R2D2 and C3PO anti-smoking commercial?
I think so. Yeah,
That sounds vaguely familiar.
R2D2, is that a cigarette?
he's so condescending. Fuck you, C3PO. You don't know what kind of day R2D2 just had.
He's fucking flying the swamps and shit. And
Let him have a cigarette, dude.
Yeah, you're
He's
just worried
seen a lot
about
of
protocol and languages. Like, what a stressful day you have had.
Asshole. Affluenza.
Fuck. Anyone got anything they want to plug?
Oh, we got to rate this, don't we?
I suppose. Yeah, I don't know. I was kind of like slamming my pen against my leg, like, let's close this mode. But yeah, we can rate it. Patrick, what do you got?
6.
Jimmy.
I'm going to hurt Chris's birthday boy feelings, and I'm going to give this one a 4.
Oh, damn.
Let me justify myself here. I'm not a punk rock guy. You know, unless we're talking Blink-182 or like Yellow Card.
The real stuff.
The real stuff. I'm just not into it. No, I don't know. I was always a prog boy, and the prog boys and the punk boys were always enemies, you know?
Yeah, because like the prog boys would show up with their bowler hats
here we
and
go.
like their
Here we
slick back
go.
hair, and then the punk boys would come up with their thick rimmed glasses and their canes, and just they would never get along. All right,
Real
so
dandy.
I
know.
would give it an 8. So that gives us a collective 6 on this.
Wow.
Yeah, we're scraping the bottom of the barrel now all of a sudden.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. Like, I don't mean to yuck you yum, but it's just not, not my thing. You know?
One of the things I got from this re-listen, and this is a lesson from chboy Christopher here, is that To Hell with Good Intentions, I think, is a fucking 9 to 9.5 song. Like, that is a baller song.
I did really like that song.
Gareth Brown Says, that's a great song.
I also like that song.
I love Lightsaber Cocksucking Blues. I
didn't
love
like
Alan
that.
as a Cowboy Killer.
I kind of like that one.
Like, there's a bunch of songs in this that I really love, but there are certainly clunkers on this album.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to deny that in the name of the songs that I really like on it.
To be fair, the first time I ever heard this album was when I got into my truck with you, 3 hours ago. So I didn't really have a lot of time to really let this one seep in.
I don't think it's really a grower. If you like To Hell with Good Intentions, maybe you give it a listen like another day.
Yeah.
And see what you think.
Yeah.
But
So-
I don't think it's a grower. It's an album that you like or you don't like.
So one thing that I did notice, so I've only listened to this album once before. Actually, my friend, the late Andy Connors, actually introduced it to me a few years back.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's like the only other person I know who knew of McLusky, actually. But yeah, just from that moment and then listening to it on vinyl, I noticed like how much more appealing it was on vinyl. Like there's sort of an immediateness to it that sort of felt, a little more angry, I guess.
Yeah.
That
I mean,
sort
the
of
first
lends to
song-
the aggressiveness of it.
The first song kind of gave me an anxiety attack. This is right, like
Yeah.
going back to like we were talking about like Death Grips.
Yeah.
The first time I heard Death Grips, I was like, I'm gonna have a fucking anxiety attack listening to this.
Is that why you threw your sunglasses out of your truck window while we were driving?
Yeah. Quick story. I accidentally threw my sunglasses out the window while we were on 93 on the way here.
Yeah, I heard him.
Oh,
What was there more to the story? Sorry.
Well, I was being very animated with my hands.
Yeah, we were just, like, telling stories.
I caught my hand on the glasses.
Oh,
And,
no.
and I was in the middle of the story, and I was like, wow, and my glasses just went out the window.
That sucks.
Yeah, I
And Chris
heard
is
like
"Did
this
they-
loud
did
click
they hit
outside."
a car? I'm like, no.
Well, it was because I heard it so loud, so I assumed it had to have hit a car, like that was right next to us. But then I turned and saw the glasses on the road.
That was a bummer. I like those glasses.
I know, that always sucks when you lose your sunnies.
All right, so now for real, I'm banging my pen against my knee. Does anyone have anything to plug?
At this point, what is it, June 14th now? Probably not.
Does that mean you're getting testy when you bang your pen against your leg? Huh, birthday boy?
Yeah, we're like a month and 12 days away. We're recording this well in advance.
Yeah, I could
so
be dead by now. I'm going to Ireland.
this is-
you know?
I could be dead by now.
This is August 14th, 2009. We're recording this.
Yes. Podcasting is just a dream at this point.
Before I even met Christopher and Patrick.
Podcasting was just a dream at this point.
Yeah. It didn't exist in the halcyon year of 2009.
No. It started on January 1st, 2010, I think.
Yeah, Al Gore didn't invent the internet until at least a couple months later.
Yeah.
All right. But no, for real, anything we want to plug, promote, like any shows coming up? Any B4Y?
No, we got nothing going on in the Bears for Years den right now. We're just actually thinking about writing some more tunes pretty soon. Probably start like late summer, early fall, working on some new stuff.
Ursa Minor?
Yeah, probably. Be an EP. Sure. Why
Nice.
the hell not?
That'd be a pretty cool concept.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to hear Gina do more downers. That'd be fun.
More downers.
Yeah.
Wait, were all the songs on that album in major key?
No, not at all. They're like mostly minor.
Oh, okay. I was going to say. I was like,
No,
that's
Gina's
sick.
very good at doing minors that sound major.
Yeah.
So yeah, I want to hear Gina just being like fucking going for it and like just going for like the downers.
I want to hear her do a straight up punk album. That'd be badass.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
She would never do it because she hates punk, but
Shara McLusky. Just make her listen to Hell with Good Intentions over
I
and
have
over.
actually shown her this record before.
Hey Jim, what do you got going on? In the future, in June.
By the time this airs, I think Megan Casey's EP will be out. So yeah, check that out on the URL that doesn't exist yet. I'll I'll keep you informed about
It'll be
that.
linked in the description.
I don't know if the Cactus Attack album will be done yet because that's usually a process. But yeah, those are the two things I'm working on. I want to start putting out some more drum video stuff.
Yeah.
But I say that every year, then I don't do it. Although I did a few last year. I did some covers last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, you did Dance in Infinity.
Dance of Eternity.
Eternity.
Come on, Patrick. I thought you were like a Dream Theater fan or something.
It's been a while since I fucked with DT.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did those. Those are pretty good.
It's always fun to go back and listen to Dream Theater and go, what the fuck was I thinking?
Yeah, you know, love doing that on my classic.
I used to get up on my soapbox and be like, no, man, Dream Theater's awesome. All right, just listen to it. Just listen.
Portnoy.
Yeah, listen to what he's fucking. Listen to fucking John Petrucci on the guitar. Listen to that fucking shit. And now I listen back. I'm like, this is the fucking lamest shit.
I think I have like a live journal post from like early 2003 doing just that. Yeah, soapboxing about Dream
Oh
Theater.
my god! So if I would like to form a pledge right now. If LiveJournal has archived anything we have done, I would really like for us to all go retrieve it.
I
and
deleted
publish.
mine. It was problematic.
LiveJournal, they're not so much on the deleting front. At least they didn't used to be.
Really?
Yeah,
Think it's still
so
around?
So like they would remove your stuff from the internet, but they would save it on their servers.
Ah,
That
god
kind of
damn
thing.
it!
So you might want to look into that. All right, cool. Yeah, I don't really
Nothing
have anything.
incriminating.
Yeah, nothing
Just
incriminating.
embarrassing.
Oh, okay. So, I got nothing. Fucking solo record. Very Lamar has a record in the can that might come out sometime. No plans on that.
Yeah,
So-
seriously.
Did you guys decide if you're going to take that space or not?
Yeah, we're taking it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
In Malden.
Malden. In Carl Malden, Massachusetts. You don't want to share Coke with him because he'll obviously blow it all. All right, so with that in mind, this has been Old Man Yell at Cloud. I am your old pal, Christopher.
You're
and
old, all right.
You are joined by...
Your younger pal, Patrick.
And your littlest pal, Jim, will see you in hell.
I'm tired of explaining that it wasn't supposed to be allowed. I buy it, but it wasn't supposed to be like this. You can't touch me. I'm never over the yards. Come the color of Coca-Cola. I'm laughing kids and singing, falling over traffic. Only one of video photograph of the time you knocked my sister over the yards. Come the color of a dustbin. Tired of explaining that it wasn't supposed to be allowed. I'm tired. It wasn't supposed to be like this. You can't touch me. I'm never over your heart's gone the color of Coca-Cola. Your heart's gone the color of a dustbin.